Hello and welcome to this finally made, greatly requested tutorial, the FumeFX Hand Fireball thingy mobile part 2. It's finally here, I know. I apologise it took so long. It's just that my computer decided to kill itself and it took 5 months to repair, plus I've had to finish school, and I've only just got the time to do it. I wanted to do it, but I couldn't. So yeah, it's here finally. The amount of hassle it took just to try and get my computer to work and get everything back running was just a nightmare. So I don't want to do it again. Okay, but let's just get on with the tutorial. So in the first tutorial, this is not what we did. We did not that shot. We did this shot, with the fire being thrown at the meteor. Meteor? Where did that come from? Meteor. God, it's too early in the morning. It's about 11:05. Yeah, we did that. This time we're going to do this. The Hand Fireball of Doom. So, getting launched out of the hand and looking very nice. Unfortunately, the quality is terrible. I didn't really render a bigger version. Another unfortunate event. I do not have the footage for this anymore, ever. I had to get a new hard drive, and I don't have all of the old hard drive wiped. So I don't have the footage anymore, but I can still do this tutorial. I can still teach you the techniques. It doesn't matter if there's no footage. It's still similar. If you learn you're only learning the techniques, so you can then go on to do other things. So the footage barrier shouldn't be a problem. So yes, it shouldn't really matter that much. So jumping into 3ds Max, we are going to create that fireball effect, and I'm going to position it roughly as if there was a frame there. So I'm going to have the fire about there. And just to be safe, I want to get a safe frame. See what I did there? Just so I can see where my edges are. So you can go to your render settings and change it to whatever render size you want. I like Full HD. And I'm going to right click on perspective and show the safe frames, or Shift F. And I'm going to press Alt and W, and this makes this screen full screen. You can also press this dandy button in the bottom. Dandy? Really? Okay, now we're going to go to click on the standard primitives and go down to FumeFX. And click on FumeFX. And there we go. Okay. I'm gonna draw a... No, it doesn't have to be that wide. It doesn't have to be that tall, but I'm gonna make it a bit kind of long. Yeah, there we go. I might make it a bit bigger than for the... Yeah, there we go. Okay. There we go. And I'm gonna position the camera about... actually, I'm going to make a camera first because I knew what lens I used. So if I press Control C, I've made a camera. I don't have to go into Create, Cameras, Target. I just have to press Control C, and it will make a camera from whatever view I'm at. Excuse me, I have a bit of a sniff. So I'm going to press Alt W again, get out of that, and then select the camera and select 50mm because I was using a 50mm lens at the time. Good old DSLRs, the cheap alternative to something or other. Good high quality filmmaking. So we're going to make a particle system. Yes, this time we're going to go for particles. So we're going to make the particle source. Oh, excuse my nose. And we're just going to draw it out where I'd say about there. Yeah. And position it there. So now we have... I'm going to go and make this mode a perspective... This view a perspective view, so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, it's facing the wrong way. As you can see, the arrow is pointing that way, so the particles fly that way. We don't want that. So we're going to just mirror it on the y-axis. So there we go. And I'm going to position it about there. There we go. It's in the corner. That'll do. And since we have all of this unnecessary space and it's to the left a bit, we're just going to position it around it. There we go. Everything is nice and covered. And now we're going to mess around with some particles. So at the moment, if we look what the particles are doing, they're stopping. They're stopping at frame 30, I believe. Oh yeah, I'm good. Spend way too much time in 3ds Max. Now, where did this magical window appear, you might ask? It came from pressing the number 6. If you highlight this and press 6, you get the particle view tool panel thing. So with this you can control all of the aspects of the particle source. So, I do hope my audio is recording. Yes, it is. Just checking. So we want to stop it emitting at 30 and keep on going to frame 100. I'm just going to do this for 100 frames just to keep it quick. So we click on birth and make it 100, not 1,000, 100. And we do not need shape, so we can delete that. We don't need rotation because the particles aren't really rotating themselves. They'll be moving in space and they'll be changing angle, but they won't be rotating because they're points. We don't need to render them. And I think that's fine. So now if we render this, there's a lot less particles. That's because we've spread out the amount of particles being made over the course of the 100 frames. Now before we go any further, I'm just going to give this a bit more life. We're going to animate the rotation. Now in the original shot I did move it, and I didn't track it, I just guessed and moved this, animated this along with the movement of Tam's hands. So that gave it that natural looking look. That was a good way of putting it. So I'm just going to mess with the rotation. I'm not going to mess with the position. I'm just going to alter the rotation. So we're just going to do small amounts. If you select the area in between the lines, you can rotate all of the whole axis. It doesn't affect just the one axis like the Y or Z or X. You get all of them. So it's a lot quicker than just having to select each line down and along. That is precise, but it's slow. Depends what you're after. Now this is not a flamethrower tutorial. This is a fireball coming out your hand tutorial. So we don't want too much. We don't want too much rotation. There we go. Now that animation looks a bit dodgy, so I'm gonna select this curve editor here and select einen particle source, and then we're going to highlight all of these points. These are the animation points. If we change that, if we move them along, it changes the rotation. It's more of a graphical, it's a more mathematical type of animating. The animators use it a lot in animation. No, that wasn't. Yeah, they do that, but that was stating the obvious. There we go. So now that we highlighted these and pressed the set tangents to smooth button. This basically makes the keyframes smooth themselves up. They don't speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. They go smooth, constant speed. Nice. So I'm going to press J. That removes those annoying boxes we get when we highlight stuff. So we're going to press play. There we go, nice and awesome. I'm just going to move my camera a bit. There we go. You can just press the middle, the scroll button. If you have a clicky button on that, if you press it down, you can move your camera like that. It's basically the same as how I move around. I press Alt to move. Why am I telling you this? This is basic stuff, people. You should know this. Yeah. So we're going to go back to the particle view, so we can press that or press 6, and I'm going to increase the amount to, I'd say, 500. Maybe have to do a bit more, but we'll see. Now these particles are lasting for a bit too long because the camera can only see up to about there, so we're going to cut them off about there, just to speed things up. So I'm going to bring this back and a delete modifier. I'm going to call them modifiers, but that deletes them. What a kerfuffle! And yes, but you have to select particle by age, and this then deletes the particle by however old they are. They live short lives, they do. So I'm gonna take the variation down because we don't need any variation or randomness. So there we go. They last for that long. The camera isn't gonna miss them. You can barely see them as it is. So now we've reduced the particle amount, and that will decrease the amount of lag you'll get in the scene, basically, when you're trying to edit this. I can't believe I used the term lag in video editing. I'm going to increase this to 1,000. That's 100. I'm on fire this morning. So I'm going to, I would say that's okay for now. We're going to come back to this later. I'm just going to use this as a base for now. Okay, that was the particle system set up for now, the basics. So now we're going to go to the create panel, and we're going to go to helpers, and then we're going to go to FumeFX. And we're not going to do a simple source or an object source, we're going to do a particle source. I'm Sean Connery. And we're going to select the particle system. There we go. So now it makes a lot of balls around the particles. My mind went blank there. So then we're going to go into FumeFX, and this is where we are going to burn some shizzle up. So we're going to go to the object and source and select the particle source. And I'm just going to find somewhere to put this document, FumeFX 3D, FumeFX temp, Fireball tutorial. Save it there. It doesn't really matter about them. Okay, so we have selected the source. We can see our output preview by pressing this button. Going to select this viewport and prepare for the worst. Oh, that's beautiful. Have you ever seen anything more beautiful in your life? Right, there we go. That's the tutorial. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. I'm only kidding. That looks complete poop. Right. Now you would think, let's do the obvious thing and put the spacing down. Okay, then let's see what happens. No, don't want to do it that high. Let's give it about 173. I like to look at the first number. It looks terrible. Yeah, I'll give you that. If you come into this side view, or this view here, it looks okay, but we get it's very like that. It's kind of wavy. That's because the particles are moving very fast, and we're getting some issue here with there is smoke being made before the fire. So for this scene, I don't think we want too much smoke. So we're going to go back to the object source, go down. I'm going to reduce the amount of smoke to, I'd say 0.5. 0.5 should do it. And then we're going to go into sim. I'm going to increase the maximum simulation steps to 2. Basically, this will simulate every frame twice. So you do not get that annoying, wavy look. I think I'm going to go into this view for now, just so we can see what we're doing. So we're going to simulate that again. That's better, that's better. It's sort of better. Okay, it's less looking like that now. I just want to see what this looks like when I render it. It's probably going to look absolutely terrible. Yeah. Looks terrible, doesn't it? So we're going to increase the steps again, and I'm going to increase the... Ooh, excuse me. Spacing. 215. Yeah, we're still getting that, just like line jets of fire. You can see there, it's like it's in 3 or several bits, and that's not what we want. So I told you we'd be going back into the particle source. We're going to press 6, and we're going to increase this to 2,000. Oh. We're getting into the hardcore stuff here, and I'm going to bring the speed down to 5 meters a second. Yes, I'm working in meters as well. I like to keep things like that. because that's still moving very fast. So I'm going to put that down to 4, and I'm going to add some variation. No, not 10. That's a huge amount. There we go. Right, let's see how this looks. I'm going to close the particle thing just to keep us clean and tidy. Still looks terrible. It's looking kind of odd. So, there is a trick to getting past this. We can change the icon size. And you will see what that does in this view here. Nope. Hey, I did the wrong thing. Hey, everyone, let's laugh at me. It's the radius. I was joking. Yes, the radius. What the radius does is increases the balls that are around the particles. So if we increase that, that gives the fire more fuel, basically. So, well, not more fuel. Well, yeah, it looks more. There we go. It looks more like rounded and huge. We may have to decrease that because that looks redonkulous. I just said redonkulous. I don't know why. Okay, so back into the sim. We're going to make this look more natural. So we're going to add, say, ooh, a meter. I don't think that's good. I'm going to put 0.4 of a meter, 40 centimeters worth of turbulence. We're going to bring the scale down because nobody likes ooh, too much, too much. We're going to bring it back up. There we go. And we're going to increase the burn variation. This means when you create the when the fire is moving. Oh, I just touched the mic. It creates like those flicks of flame that fly off in crazy directions. So we're going to do another one of these simulations. That's what they're called. Okay, that turbulence is a bit too big, I would say, because the fire is just, yeah. I'm going to bring that down a little, just a little bit, because you can see from the smoke it's kind of big. It's not what we're after at the moment. Just going to stopping. If you press the stop button, it stops rendering the frame. It stops the simulation after you've seen the frame. If you press cancel, it just stops it as it is. So back to the turbulence. I think the scale can go down a bit. 0.49, yeah. And then I'm going to bring this down to 0.2 meters. Ooh, 0.2. I'm going to sim that again. See how this is looking. Yeah. I'm gonna leave this going for a while. I think I'm gonna leave this sim. Ooh, I don't want this getting too big because then it will fill up the frame. Hang on, if I stop this, I like to see what happens on the next frame. I don't know why. If I stop this. I think that's actually the right size, actually. I think I'm going to go with this. But I'm still not sure about that turbulence. 0.05. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see how that looks, because it just looks too big. Why am I getting so crazy about this? Okay. I don't know. Ooh, I don't know. Does that mean, does that look bigger? Yep, insert that's what she said joke here. I don't know. This is all about experimenting. There's no set way of doing this to get a set result. This is all about messing with the values, you're getting different results, and just playing with what you've got. Insert another that's what she said joke here. Obviously this is a crazy low res, so it's going to look like that. I mean, that looks ridiculous. I've seen simulations on the internet where people think that's the final output. No, it's not. I'm just going to increase, and I'm going to make the fire look a bit different. I have a pre-saved gradient to the fire, which I like to use. It's a bit desaturated, but you can saturate it up in post. So I'm just this is what it looks like. I may give a download to this gradient in the description. There'll be in the link description below. There is a link to our website which has the download on. It will be a download to this file. All you got to do is right click load, and you will load Fire AGT. So then you can play around with fire to your heart's content. Okay, now we're gonna see what that looks like in comparison to this fire. So we're gonna clone the rendered view, and I'm just gonna drag it off to my other monitor because I have two, you know. Can't believe I did that. Okay, and it does look a lot paler, but then again, you can fix this in post. This is post. You can fix this when you put it into your compositing software. Because you will be putting it into compositing software. You are not going to have your final output from 3ds Max. No sir. Yeah, it's probably this area which looks a bit funky. So yeah, and I'm also going to mess with the smoke. So I'm going to cast the shadows, receive shadows. If I put lights in later, which I don't know if I will, just in case, I don't want to remember, forget. I mean, yes, goodbye. And I'm going to make it keyless mode. So right-click keyless mode, double-click or click. And I'm going to make it a bit darker grey. Going to make this one a bit darker as well. And I'm going to bring the opacity up to 10. How does that look? I think you can see that smoke now. You're going to see around the edges some smoke. Yep, there you are. If we go into the alpha, you can see there is smoke there, don't worry. So, back this way, I think. I'm not sure. This turbulence thing is a bit of a pickle. So, what if I think I'm gonna decrease this and increase the detail. Aha. That's another thing you need. There we go. It's got a little bit more detail to it now. I might decrease the radius of these circles and increase the particle amount. That's always a good way to make. Yeah, give it a more higher resolution. I'm going to give it 4,000. I'm doubling this full up. So we've got more particles being emitted. That should do it. Now I'm going to go back into FumeFX. Go back into FumeFX. Oh yeah, need to click on that. And the object source and decrease the radius. Basically, these particles are acting like fuel, and these little balls are basically balls of fuel that the fire is being burned from, basically. And it kind of looks, if you have not enough particles or the size of these is too low, it just looks like there are a load of fire balls, like little balls of fire just shooting at it. Maybe that's what you're looking for after. I don't know. Alright, let's see how this looks. This is looking a bit better. I'm gonna increase the step size. Step size? Wow, what happened to my voice? That's steps. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna increase the spacing to, I'd say, about 500. No, 450. And I'm gonna simulate this for about 30 frames, and then we're gonna come back and see how it looks. So I will see you in an eternity while I eat my cereal. Now, when I say I'm going to render, I'm going to simulate 16. Now when I say I'm going to simulate 30 frames, I clearly mean 6, because that took about half an hour. I mean, it's crazy, and I need a supercomputer, or obscene amounts of time, because, yeah, simulations are annoying. Yeah, so I think we've got a pretty good look here. It's very billowy. If we go into this view, which is the view we'd see, it does look very the flames look very like lapping, if that makes any sense at all. You're going to get the fire burst and then whoosh, it comes at the camera, and that's what you want. You don't want that. So there we go. I would yes, I don't know why I did that. I would when this gets rendered into your scene, I would add some glow, because you wouldn't necessarily see through the fire. You wouldn't be able to see what was on the other side, because it would be too bright. So add an obscene amount of glow, but not so much that it hurts your eyes. And change the hue and saturation. All of those things add up. if you want, you can add some motion blur to this. There is a tutorial on how to do this. There'll be an annotation in screen now on how to do this, but I'll show you anyway. I'm not going to actually do it, but I'm going to show you. You would go into your general settings. You're going to go into set, velocity, okay, and then simulate all of the stuff you want to simulate again. It doesn't change the look or anything. It just adds a new channel. What is that? If you can't see this, that's probably me. Yeah, it adds a new rendered channel, if that makes sense. It doesn't change the look or the size or the speed or anything. It just adds something else. So then you would select everything in your... I like to be safe and select everything in my scene. Since it's only a FumeFX thing, it's not going to really matter. So I would press Control A to select everything. Right click, Object Properties, Image Motion Blur, and I like to put it back down to 0.4 or 0.3. That I find that looks the most natural, because 0.1 point, or the high points, 0 points, look a bit unnatural. So I like to keep my motion blur like that, but still not done. Still won't work. Then you press 8 on your keyboard, and then you go to, I think it's FusionWorks. Yes, you go to FusionWorks, create channels, image motion blur. Still not done. We go to effects, add motion blur. Now we're done. So basically, all that will do is give your fire motion blur. There is a tutorial covering this. We did it a while ago. So then you could put that into your scene, in your compositing software, mess with the colours, track it in a bit, add some camera shake if you wanted to, I don't know. Lens blur if it's out of focus, I don't know, anything. Anything you wanted to do, make it look natural. So then, yeah. This is the second part to the FumeFX tutorial. The next part, I promise you, will come very, very soon. I won't spend a donkey's years trying to record it, because I've got time now. The next part will be the fire hitting the shield. And then after that, we'll cover making the shield. It won't be a FumeFX tutorial, but it will still be how to make the shield. Again, I don't have the footage, but I can still show you the techniques, which is what you want to know and use and develop. I am rambling, aren't I? There we go. So I hope this tutorial is useful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you have even more deep and meaningful questions, inbox us. I'm sure we'll help. We won't do your work for you, but we will tell you how to do it. So, yeah. Tutorials news. We've hit 250,000 total views. 250,000 people around the world, mostly in India, the UK and the US, mostly, have watched our tutorials. It's on the demographics, I'll show you later. Yep, it's crazy, and we're doing pretty good in the subscribers as well, so yeah, thanks a lot for the 250,000. The next milestone, 500,000. The million? The milestone after that, 1 million. That is when we shall party hard, and we'll celebrate with many a FumeFX candle tutorial. There'll be a cake modelling tutorial as well. Yeah. If we hit 1 million, I will make a tutorial on how to make a cake in 3ds Max, and then simulate fire on the cake candles. Yes. So there we go. That is part 2 of the FumeFX tutorial. I'll catch you later. See you later, governor. Toodles.